Walker Buehler now available. First question is from Alanna Rizzo.
Walker, out of the 3 outings that you've had so far this season, do you take away from this one that it was your best so far?
Yeah, I think so for sure. Obviously, the 4 leadoff walks not what you're trying to do, but stuff was better and located outside of those a lot better. So, just continue to work, but offense picked me up there late, and we're glad to get out of here with a win.
Is it a little strange though, because despite the 4 walks, you also had 6 punch-ups. So how would you describe this one overall?
Yeah, just a little bit erratic. I think at times you can get a little bit of that, effectively wild kind of thing that happens in this game. So, would have liked to have been a little crisper, especially to lead off innings. But, all in all, feel pretty good about it.
Overall, though, you kept the ball in the park, which is something that really couldn't have been said the first 2 outings that you have. I mean, what appreciation or value do you take in that?
Yeah, it's definitely a little different from the norm for me this year. So, no, I think I just made some better pitches and, luckily kept it in here.
Okay. Thank you, Walker.
Next question from Ron Kapner. Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, Walker. Especially with that 4 seam, it seemed like you were able to, or just the fastball in general, it seemed like you were able to get a lot more swing and miss stuff. What were you kind of seeing from that pitch in particular today?
Yeah, I think kind of a tale of 2 games for me. I think the leadoff stuff is what it is. 4 walks, you don't feel great about it. There are a lot of bad fastballs, and then get in the stretch and kind of letting some balls go and sequencing kind of closer to the way that I normally do. I think trying to speed them up, slow them down, things like that kind of lead to that, and then I think there's some improvement in the in the conviction and maybe hiding the ball a little bit better. So. Feel good about it. It's another step forward, and hopefully we'll do better next time.
Thank you.
Question from Pedro Mora. Go ahead, Pedro.
Hey, Walker, 3 starts in, do you now feel like you're pretty much where you want to be? I know you said step forward. First 2 starts, it sounds like you were not where you wanted to be. Do you feel like this is, where you might be in mid-April in a traditional year?
Yeah, I think I was kind of really, really, really bad for 3 or 4, maybe even 5 outings last year. I think this is, today wasn't my best outing by any means, but, I feel encouraged and, it's hard on a team that's this good. You just kind of don't want to mess it up. So, didn't mess it up too bad today and keep trying to get to where I want to be. And, I don't think that really changes from start 1 to start 30, but, especially after the last 2, trying to kind of take a step forward and, some clear-cut things that I want to improve. Execution-wise, I think the first couple of games, it's more about, how you're moving and things like that, and those lead to some misfires. I think today, for more so than the first 2 games, I kind of felt like I know what I was doing, and just keep working that way, and I just feel a little bit more comfortable, I think.
Dave was saying pregame that he noticed and the coaching staff noticed you were getting a little rotational, I guess, in your first 2 starts with missing the arm side. Is that what you're referring to in terms of the how you're moving thing?
Yeah, I don't know if, I think that the way that we all talk about stuff like that's a little bit different. I think today I had some arm side misses and things like that, which is more normal for me. I think I kind of miss high and arm side a little bit. When I rush, typically, I think San Diego and Houston, it was more kind of the pull miss that was frustrating me just because it's not normal. So, there's an acceptable level of miss and misfire that you have to live with in some way. And I think if you can do that to one side or one way, then you can fix it. But when you're missing both ways, it becomes a little more difficult. So today, I think most of my misses were high arm side, which is very fixable and kind of a normal miss for me. But, in San Diego, kind of spiking heaters, pulling heaters, same thing in Houston. I think that's where kind of the frustration came from. And I think kind of knowing where I'm at and knowing that these high arm misses are normal for me, it gives me a little bit of comfort.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Walker. Thank you, Walker.
Thanks.
Dave Rock is now available. First question's from Alanna Rizzo. Go ahead, Alanna.
Dave, how big has AJ Pollock proven to be in his second season as a Dodger?
Really big. Even last year, I think that it was sort of, up and down. But if you look at, his production, it was very consistent with his career. And just the impact that he's made with our guys on and off the field has been great. And this year, it's just really good to see him get out of the gates really quickly and really throwing out some big hits. And today we needed that boost.
They were able to pitch to Mookie, which are you a little bit surprised just considering the way that Cody's been going, that they didn't actually intentionally walk Mookie to get to Cody? I mean, it worked out in your favor, certainly, but bit surprised there?
Yeah, the way Cody's been struggling and, you got the lefty, you got an open base, I left it on deck. And so I was, I'm sure Gabe had his reasons, but I was a little surprised.
Despite the fact that Walker had 4 leadoff walks, he was able to punch out 6. He described his outing as erratic. How would you describe it?
That's a good descriptor. But I will say this is, we couldn't get the leadoff guy out. The hit by pitch that inning and followed by the leadoff walk that inning as well. I think that if you look at his, call it 90 throws, 30 of those throws were great and executed really well, considerably better than he did his first 2 outings. Then there were some other ones that just probably weren't so good. But even with Walker, his compete, the stuff, he still gave us a chance to win a game, and that's, part of his value.
Yeah, you win the game and you also win the series. You have yet to drop a series, and even more in a shortened series. How key is that moving forward as you guys are at the quarter pole point right now? It's
big, and that's the goal, is to continue to win series. And you got to give Gosman credit today. He came out, matched Walker pitch for pitch, and the stuff was really good. And for our guys to find a way to get a couple base runners that Cody hit, the JT walk I thought was huge. The JT base hit, 2 strike, 2 outs, and obviously the AJ homer and the tack on some runs later was big for our guys. And the bullpen did a fantastic job once again.
Thank you, Dave.
Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, Dave. You had mentioned the leadoff walks that Walker had. Is there anything to getting in the stretch where maybe a pitcher can kind of help find his mechanics a little bit better at all?
That's pitcher to pitcher. Obviously, your best, your most stressful, most important pitches are typically when you're in the stretch. It does simplify the delivery, but Walker actually he wanted to work on the stretch in his last pen, which he did do, and he was better out of the stretch today. The windup, it's one of those things that he likes the ability to kind of use his full delivery, and today he just wasn't synced up with his windup.
With Caleb and McGee and some of the guys kind of in those 7th, 8th innings, obviously the bullpen's been great, but in those 2 innings, those guys kind of before the 9th, what can you say about what you've seen from them? Really,
they did a great job. And I asked them, certain guys, to go up and down today and to try to maximize matchups. They all understand what we're trying to do, and they all executed. So it was really good. Blake hasn't pitched in a few days, so to get him back out there, get a big out for us, and to get the big fella in there was great. Those guys, I can't say enough about them.
Thank you.
Next question's from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
Dave, as good as your offense has been total-wise this year, what do you make of the first 5-6 innings each of the last 2 days, not being able to get going?
I think the thing, Bill, is we're staying in the strike zone. But, what I see is balls in the strike zone, we're not hitting hard and taking advantage of. So I think the one part of it is the process of swinging at strikes, taking balls, and now, once we get good pitches to hit, to move it forward. And I think there's a lot of pop-ups the last couple of days.
very different starting pitching. Is that fair to say between Cueto and Gosman?
Yeah. Cueto just really has feel for the changeup and the deception with the delivery. Command really good. Gosman was 97, 98. Pitch at the top of the zone. It's got a kind of a split change, but certainly different.
What did you think of the 3-1 call on AJ Pollock?
I thought it was down, but I looked back at the film, and Adam had it right. It was kind of at that bottom part of the zone, and I'm glad he called it a strike.
Thanks, Dave.
Another question from Jack Harris. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, did it throw you guys off at all that it seemed like Gosman was throwing a couple ticks above what he normally does?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it threw us off, and I didn't look at his last start, but we saw him early, and I just don't remember it being 97, 98. He pitched at the top of the zone more, I thought, today, and he was ready. You're facing a guy like Walker Buehler, and you're going to bring your A game, and that's exactly what he did.
And when it comes to late game offense, you guys have been really good the last 3 innings of games. Is there a reason for that, especially when you get into other teams' bullpens?
I don't know. I think it just goes in cycles where sometimes you're beating the starter and you're getting matched up late with the guys in the pen and you don't fare well. And other times you can't get to the starter and you find a way to scratch runs late. So I don't know. I wish I knew the answer.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
AJ Pollock now available. First question from Rowan Kavner. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rowan.
Hey, AJ. I think you might have talked about it post-game with Alanna a little bit, but on that 3-1 pitch, I'm guessing now you're pretty glad that close pitch was called a strike.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously with the result the way it was glad it was called a strike. At the time, I wasn't really arguing as much. It was more just it was so loud. Our little cardboard cutout guys were going nuts today. I couldn't hear anything. I was trying to ask the umpire if it was a strike because I didn't really hear anything. And then he was trying to talk to me. I couldn't hear him. And it was just a mess. He's got his mask on. So that was kind of a weird situation. But anyways, yeah, it worked out really well and got the 3-2 pitch and was able to do some damage on it.
How would you describe the way you're feeling right now at the plate?
I feel really good. I feel pretty consistent every day. Even, the days where I don't get any results, I feel like I'm in a good position to hit. I'm seeing the ball well, and I'm competitive with my at-bats. Yeah, I feel pretty good.
And then last one from me. What do you think about the way the guys in the bullpen have helped you out, and at least, in times where you guys might be trailing, have bought enough time for you guys to be able to crawl back? It seems like you've had a lot of late game scoring in recent series.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've had a couple games where the offense hasn't been going, and when you have a team that has the pitching that just keeps you right there, and you're only just a bloop and a blast away from tying it up. It's huge. You can when they do that, you're able to squeak out games like this. There's teams where it's just you're down a couple runs, you're not playing well, and then the game gets out of hand. It's 4 or 5 runs, and they keep us right there. So we're just we just piece together some good at bats, and you have a chance to win a game.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Questions from Pedro Mora. Go ahead, Pedro.
AJ, as someone watching from home, I have to ask: the noise level is fluctuating that much that it was like that much louder today than yesterday or other games?
Yeah, for sure. I think yesterday was a little kind of mellow, and then today was fans were going nuts today. Couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear the umpire from 10 feet away from me. It was so loud. So I don't know if it's just different times throughout the game. It's not bad. It's just kind of like it's weird when you're not used to not being able to hear the umpire. So yeah, it's loud sometimes. Uh-huh. It's not so loud.
I know you've spoken to the perspective that having a child at home has given you to maybe spend a little bit less time marinating on baseball. But could you put it into context how much fun you're having with the game this season in comparison to maybe where you wanted to be last year, and it felt like you never quite got to in terms of just having games like this? This is exactly what you want to do for a new team. This would have been the breakout start you had envisioned exactly last year, right after arriving. How much fun has this been for a couple weeks here?
Yeah, it's been great. It's fun being around the guys. I think last year was just trying to stay afloat. I kind of had a rough stretch in the beginning. It was terrible, and then I had the staph infection that kind of kept me out, and then it was just kind of a weird year. And then the playoffs were rough. It just was weird stuff. This year I was excited because last year I realized it's got a great group of guys here. Awesome clubhouse, and I think I'm just enjoying the guys, enjoying being around different personalities on the team. And yeah, we get to play some baseball. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to play this year. So I'm just going to enjoy that. And, when the game's over, go home and enjoy my family.
Thanks.
Next question is from Jack Harris. Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead, Jack.
There you go. AJ, where do you think that you guys can still get better offensively?
Well, I don't think if you look at today, we were it was a little choppy. I think the first we didn't really put that many good at bats together until later in the game. So the starting pitcher was really solid. He threw he was but at the same time we think we have some pretty good guys in the lineup. So I think just the consistency You know, we've had a couple guys get hot at certain times, and then we've, you know, I think when we can kind of string together a little more consistent at bats, I think we can do some damage. But look, we're still able to put up a bunch of runs, and even, you know, when we're not really swinging the bat so great. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's baseball. It's not unusual. It's not confusing. It's just kind of how it is. You know, you go through stretches where different guys will carry you for little periods of time, and then, you know, you hope the other guys are around them are you know, having you're kind of right in the middle. You know, they're putting good at bats together. Maybe they're not hot, but they're not cold. They're right in the middle. We're gonna get there. I think we got such a good lineup, and we got such good hitters on our team. I think we're just the consistency. I think we're close for sure.
Does that just speak to the expectations you guys have for yourselves when you could see areas to get better, even when you're leading baseball in a lot of offensive categories?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as a group, we come together, and it's just, you can kind of, you know, you look around and you know the types of hitters we got on this team. So we can do some damage. And I think it's cool knowing that, you know, we're able to put up a bunch of runs early in the year like this and not feel like we've hit our stride. So, but it's hard. It's a hard game. You're going to go through stretches where you don't, you know, you don't, even if you have a good club, you know, you're not hitting the ball as well as you want to. And we'll see where we go from here. Obviously it's a humbling game, so you don't want to get too up or too down. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Got a question from Elaine Elliott. Go ahead.
Muted. Hi. Just wanted to ask you a little bit about Walker Buehler, who it was his longest start of the season. He said he's kind of seems like to be a harsh critic of himself, says he feels this was a step forward for him. What could he do? What could this team do if he kind of gets up to the standard that he's demanding from himself?
Well, Walker's extremely competitive, and he's fiery, and he's just got electric stuff. I've faced him a bunch of times, and he's just super talented. There's not many guys that have that kind of stuff in the game and have that much fire. So we're gonna need him. We all know he's one of the guys we're gonna be counting on, and like, it's good. He's good. He's a tough critic. You know, he threw the ball well today, and I know he's gonna be harsh on himself. He had a couple walks, but his stuff is great. You know, you still love it when you're playing behind him and he's out in the mound. You feel really good about your chances of winning.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. Thanks, everybody.
Cool. Thanks, guys.